There's an account that lets your money grow 100% tax-free, can pay for way more than tuition, and, thanks to a brand new rule, can even turn into retirement money if your kid never uses it. It's called a 529. And most parents either never open one or open one and quietly make a mistake that costs them thousands. Meet Sarah. She did everything right. Opened a 529, saved for years, and still got blindsided by a tax bill she never saw coming. I'll show you her exact mistake at the very end because it's the one almost everyone is one step away from making. But first, how this thing actually works, the surprising stuff it pays for, and the new escape hatch that killed the biggest reason people avoid it. Quick note, education, not financial or tax advice, and 529 rules vary by state and change. So get oriented here, then check your state. Start simple. A 529 is a special investment account built for education. You put in money you've already paid tax on, invest it inside, usually in simple funds. And here's the magic, it grows completely tax-free, and when you pull it out for education, you pay zero tax on all that growth. Compare that to a normal brokerage account, where you'd owe taxes on every gain. Over 18 years of compounding, that difference is enormous. We're talking thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, that stay in your pocket instead of the government's. Think of it like a Roth IRA, but for school. It's got an owner, usually you, and a beneficiary, your kid. And that owner-beneficiary setup is secretly one of its most powerful features, which we'll get to. First, the tax break, because there's a second layer almost everyone misses. Everyone knows about the tax-free growth. What they miss is layer 2. Many states hand you a state income tax, deduction or credit just for contributing, often only if you use your own state's plan. So in a lot of states you get an upfront tax break the year you put money in, plus tax-free growth for 18 years, plus tax-free withdrawals at the end. That's a triple win, and the upfront state deduction is basically free money the year you contribute. The catch, rules vary a lot by state. So the very first thing you do before opening one is check what your state offers, because sometimes the in-state tax break makes the local plan a no-brainer, and sometimes it doesn't matter and you can shop the whole country for the cheapest plan. Don't skip that check. It can be worth real money. Here's where people badly undersell the 529. Qualified education expenses is far broader than 4-year college tuition. It covers tuition, fees, books, required supplies, and even room and board for students enrolled at least half time. It works at most accredited universities, community colleges, trade and vocational schools, even many programs abroad. Recent rules let you use a limited amount for K-12 tuition and for apprenticeship costs too, so this is not just for the kid headed to a traditional university. Trade school, nursing program, a qualifying coding bootcamp. All on the table. That flexibility matters because not every kid takes the standard path, and a ton of parents wrongly assume the money's wasted if their child skips college, which brings us to the fear that stops most people from ever opening one. For years, the number one reason parents avoided 529s was a single dread. What if I save all this and my kid doesn't go to college? Fair worry. Historically, if you pulled money out for non-education reasons, you paid income tax plus a 10% penalty on the growth. That penalty scared people off in droves. But notice, the penalty only ever hit the e-earnings, never your original contributions. And there were already escape routes. And then, recently, lawmakers added a new one that basically deletes the fear entirely. This is the part nobody told you, and it changes the whole calculation. So stick with me. Here's the game changer from the Secure 220 rules. Leftover 529 money can now be rolled into the kid's Roth IRA. Tax-free and penalty-free. There are guardrails. The 529 generally must have been open about 15 years. There's a lifetime cap around $35,000, and annual Roth limits still apply. But think about what that does. A 529 is no longer use it on school or eat a penalty. Worst case now? Your kid skips college, and that money becomes a massive head start on their retirement instead. Combined with the older options, and there are several, the what if they don't go, fear is basically solved. Let me hand you those other escape routes too, because you got more than you think. Beyond the Roth rollover, you've got real flexibility with unused money. 1. You can change the beneficiary to another family member, another kid, a grandchild, even yourself if you go back to school, no penalty. 2. Just leave it invested. There's no deadline forcing you to spend it, so it can wait for grad school or a future grandchild. 3. If your kid earns a scholarship, you can withdraw an equal amount with the penalty waived. And 4. The nuclear option, just take it out, paying tax and that 10% only on the earnings. So the money is never actually trapped. That old fear was always bigger than reality, and now it's smaller than ever. Okay, you're sold. How do you actually open one without screwing it up? Easier than you'd think. Go to a state's 509 website, your own state first, to check that tax break. Open the account in minutes, name yourself owner and your kid beneficiary, and set up automatic contributions. For investing inside it, most plans offer age-based or target enrollment. Portfolios, you pick the year your kid starts school, and the plan automatically invests aggressively while they're young, then shifts to safer holdings as college nears. Basically, autopilot. Watch the fees though. Some state plans are far cheaper than others, and high fees quietly eat your returns over 18 years. Set a monthly auto, contribution, even a small one, and let time and tax-free compounding do the heavy lifting. Now, how much should actually go in? Because this is where Sarah went wrong. People either freeze because the 4-year price tag terrifies them, or they overfund and wreck their own finances. Here's the sane frame. You do not have to fund the entire cost of college. Partial help is hugely valuable, and your kid can cover gaps with scholarships, work, in-state schools, or modest loans. Pick a comfortable monthly amount you can automate and be consistent. Even $100 or $200 a month, started early, and compounding tax-free for 18 years becomes a serious chunk. But, and this is the setup for Sarah's mistake, there's a strict priority order here, and breaking it is exactly how careful parents get burned. Quick one people always ask, 529 or just a Roth for my kid's college? Both grow tax-free, hence the confusion. Clean answer, the 529 is purpose, built for education. Bigger contribution room, possible state deduction, and it doesn't touch your retirement. A Roth is your retirement. Yes, you can pull contributions for college penalty-free, but every dollar you take is a dollar of your retirement gone and you can't put it back. So generally, 529 for dedicated college savings, Roth protected for retirement. And with that new 529 to Roth rollover, even the old what if they don't go edge of the Roth has mostly closed. For families saving specifically for school, the 529 usually wins. Let's demystify using the money because people imagine it's some bureaucratic nightmare. It isn't. When college starts, you just withdraw from the 529 to pay qualified expenses, tuition, fees, required books and supplies, room and board for at least half-time students. You can have it sent to the school, to you, or to the student. The one discipline that keeps it tax-free, match your withdrawals to actual qualified expenses in the same calendar year and keep records. That's the whole game. Pay real education costs from the account, keep receipts, done. The only way to mess it up is pulling out more than the qualified expenses in a year, and that's exactly the edge Sarah fell off, which I'll get to. Here's the lesser-known angle that's pure gold. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, anyone can contribute to a 529, and recent financial aid rule changes made grandparent-owned 529s far more attractive than they used to be. Money from them no longer dings the student's aid the way it once did. So a 529 becomes a fantastic vehicle for relatives who want to give something meaningful and tax-advantaged instead of another pile of toys. Some families even funnel birthday and holiday money into it, quietly compounding for years. So next time a relative asks how they can help your kids, you've got a genuinely great answer. You can add to their 529. Scattered gifts become a real college fund. Here's the move that separates the parents who win from the ones who stress. They automate it and stop thinking about it. They set a fixed monthly auto. Contribution, even a small one, into a low-fee age-based portfolio, and then they let 18 years of tax-free compounding do the work. No timing the market, no agonizing over fund choices, no guilt-driven lump sums. Just a quiet, automatic transfer that shows up every month whether they remember it or not. That's the entire secret. The parents who try to optimize constantly usually do worse than the ones who picked a sensible plan, automated it, and walked away. Boring and automatic beats clever and inconsistent, every time. And here's Sarah's mistake, the one that turns a tax-free gift into a tax bill. 2 parts. First, she got so focused on the 529 that she neglected her OWN retirement and emergency fund to fund it. Remember the order, your kid can borrow for college, you cannot borrow for retirement. The 529 is a step 5 or 6 move, never step 1. Second, when her son got a partial scholarship and chose a cheaper school, she over-withdrew, pulling out more than his actual qualified expenses in a year, and got taxed and penalized on the growth of the excess. The fixes are simple. Fund your own foundation. First, don't overfund, and always match withdrawals to real education costs in the same year, keeping receipts. Do that, and you sidestep the exact trap that catches the most well-meaning parents. Everything in one breath. A 529 grows tax-free and comes out tax-free for education, often with a state deduction on the way in, making it a triple tax win. It covers way more than tuition, trade school, room and board, even some K-12 and apprenticeships. The old "what if they don't go" fear is basically gone. Beneficiary changes, scholarship waivers, and the new Roth rollover. Open a 3-year states plan, use a low-fee, age-based portfolio, automate it. But fund your OWN retirement and emergency fund first, never overfund, and match withdrawals to real costs. That's how you avoid Sarah's tax bill. Do it right, and you hand your kid a debt-free head start that compounded tax-free for nearly 2 decades. If this cleared up the 529 for you, subscribe, and go check your state's plan today. See you in the next one.